Welcome back to the More Than Mindset Show. This week, I am talking about two things to be mindful of so that you can get quicker results in your business. There is this misunderstanding that once you solve some problems and grow the company to a certain size or get your revenue up to a certain amount, some of these problems will dissolve. And that is simply not true. And so I want to talk about what you can do. So after you've been hustling it out for a few years or decades, you'll notice that you get weary of the same old problems. Most of my clients that I talk to feel the same. Solving the I need more leads, I need more customers, like solving that problem, okay, it's time to move on. Let's just get the lead gen going. Let's get known for something. Let's build the brand big enough to where you have a constant influx of people coming through the door. But then there's going to be new problems. And what I notice is we often get hung up in the next new problem, or we never get out of the old problem. I was talking to my team and my VIP group, and I was like, listen, this is it. The results are determined by your ability to recognize the problem and resolve it as quickly as possible. And so getting caught in problems as a distraction does not serve you. It just keeps you in the habit of solving the same old problems. A big reason we do that is we're not sure how to solve the next problem. Our mind gets us stuck in the same silly problem. I'll talk to the three different phases of business. Like when someone is in startup mode, they are typically stuck in not wanting to make a decision around who is their ideal client. They want to serve everyone. I help anyone. I can help anybody. That's startup phase. And it's very common to be stuck in that for years. It's indecisiveness. That is the problem. It feels like confusion and it feels like elimination, and you don't want to leave anyone behind. But the truth is, you don't have a business unless it is sustainable, predictable, profitable. If you cannot scale it, if it is not profitable, if you don't know how to do what you did again and again, it's not actually a business. It's more self-employment, which is not a problem. Not a problem. I'm not calling anything out. I'm just saying to recognize that these problems are a habit. So if you're in startup mode and you're having a hard time determining who is your person, what is the problem, how do you solve it, what is your simple offer that you can sell time and time again to a large number of people, then you've got some drama going on. There's some indecisiveness happening, and it's the same problem. Once you solve that problem, you're going to have a new problem. So what many business owners misunderstand is you think, oh, if I can just solve that, then finally I'm going to be out of this. No, you're just going to get a new problem, but that's a good thing. A new problem is a good thing. The second phase is problem to recognize. It's in the growth phase. It's like we just need more leads. We need more people in demand of our product. So that's a fairly common problem. But here's what will happen. As you're working on this and you're trying new things, you will eventually find something that flows pretty effortlessly. It's like a machine, and just constant leads are coming in. A lot of people are interested. They're coming into your email. They're coming into your social media. Your account is growing. You're becoming a little more known. Great. Now your new problem is, how do you get that attention and convert it to paying clients? So first you have to make a decision. And then you have to find something that they want to hear, see, follow. You want to find something of interest. You want to create curiosity. Once you do that, you will have an audience. The next problem is you have to decide, well, how do I get this audience to actually do something? Because just having a huge following is, again, not a business. This phase really requires knowing how to sell, position yourself, speak to the problem that you are solving. So it has more to do with messaging and sales conversions. The other two have more to do with, first of all, make a dang decision. Second of all, get attention, speak into your ideal person that you made a decision about so that they come into your ecosystem, into your world. They want to hear what you have to say. Now that you have their attention, they're sitting there in the audience. What do they want to buy? Here's the next problem. Trying to give them the whole solution, the whole path, the root cause, the end game when they are making the first decision to purchase. Huge, huge, huge problem. So, how do you solve this? First of all, recognizing the problem first. Oh, I see we have a new problem. I recognize there's a problem. How do I solve that? Tweaking, finding resolution. How do I solve that? How do I resolve that? Once you've done that, it will take you quicker to the results you want. But here is the next little nuance or a little problem. There's this saying in the industry, we give them everything they need. The problem is you can't solve all their problems at once. And the person who can simply describe, explain, tell the story about the end results without talking about the how. I know it's so counterintuitive. You want to tell them how. I know, I get it. I did too. I still do. You can't for several reasons. Number one, if they knew what it was, then they would recognize what you were saying and they would have already solved it because they know what it is. Number two is they haven't paid you. So they haven't requested the service. They haven't given the exchange for you to give them the resolution. You can't give them the solution until they've committed and decided to give you money in exchange for it. It's like breaking a universal law. Crazy again. I know, counterintuitive. I know you want to convince them that you want to give them incredible value. You want to prove to them, guys, you're going to have to resist this one and just try this. So what you want to do is separate it in buckets or containers, and then you just want to give them the awareness and 1 to 3 steps. That's how I determined that this was the problem, because we go from startup all the way to scale. I've been working with these healing focused entrepreneurs or practitioners and helping them get to 6 figures for many, many years. I've been doing that. Then we came across another problem, which was marketing and sales. And so then I started solving that for those. And then before I knew it, we had our clients that were in scaling position and I was helping them to scale. So because I've done it that way, I kind of grew into it. So I have different containers, but this did not just start all at one time. And so what we're doing now is separating this into containers, and I'm getting different people to represent those different phases. And we're having to like them relay the message. We're having to break this apart. I'm speaking from experience, and it's also making it more difficult. So you can hear how I'm saying on this podcast, I'm talking about 3 different phases instead of specializing in one. But the reason for me doing it here is because many of you are confused about when you are in startup, when you're in grow, and when you're in scale. Most clients come to me saying they want to scale, but some haven't gotten to 100K yet. Most haven't gotten to 1 million yet. And so that's a problem when you haven't simplified and then had the systems and like organize things where you can scale. And so the first thing we have to do is solve the revenue issue. That means more sales, more marketing, more leads, more people in the audience. That problem gets solved and then you move into the scale mode. The reason I'm saying this, and I hope it's not too confusing and you can identify where you are, I can almost guarantee you that all of you are going to be startup and some of you are going to be grow. I don't want to spend a lot of time on scale. I want to explain it so that you understand when you use the word scale or scaling that you're not actually there yet. And that's where some of the confusion is coming from. So the goal, the target that I wanted to get, the point that I wanted to get across today is your results are directly indicated, the amount of time it's going to take you to get your results are directly related to your identification, your ability to recognize what the real problem is in current time. Because our mind gets confused about solving the same problem over and over. So if you don't have enough revenue, then you got to make sure that you have a very specific client that you're talking to with a very specific solution and that your messaging is super clear and you're talking to them about what it could be like. So that's if it's revenue. You want to get a lot of attention and you want to speak in simple language using the language that they talk about. As quickly as you can resolve that, you will notice the results are going to, it just closes the gap between the problem and the results. This is a how quickly can I act moment. The problem is if you're acting quickly on something that's not the actual problem. So you have to be able to recognize. So getting a coach, getting a mentor, having someone who can have this 360 perspective of the business, ask you questions, and then get you to see for yourself what the actual problem is. And more than likely, you'll know what the solution is. You might not even need anyone to give you any suggestions. The biggest problem is not recognizing the real problem and continuing to solve the old habitual problem. A lot of times, this is caused by our mind that doesn't want to solve that problem because it doesn't actually know what to do next. And so we subconsciously sabotage this. In other words, for someone who the real problem is imposter syndrome, they're like not quite sure that they can help someone get results. They're going to mentally spin in this other problem that never gets solved because it's not the actual problem. The actual problem is for them to be their best client and to take someone through the process and make sure that they get results so that they have confidence so they don't feel like an imposter. Can you see how that's different than trying to solve this? I'm confused. I don't know who I work with. I don't know who I serve. I don't have enough leads. Completely different problem. So the ability to recognize and to handle it, to resolve it, is going to quicken the results. As soon as you get the new results, you're going to have a new problem to solve. My team just proved this week. We had one issue, which was not being seen and heard, not having a big enough audience, not having enough leads. We solved that problem. And as soon as we solved it and we started getting way more traction, it showed us what the other problem is. Now, we don't want to go backwards and not confront this new problem and then go back and sit in the old problem. And just because we can't face it, no, instead, you want to have a mentor or someone that you're in business with or someone that's helping you or another set of eyes on your business that's actually pointing these things out so that you go into the discomfort, solve the real issue as quickly as possible, even though it feels uncomfortable, even though you're sweating and crying and emotional. And listen, once you've gotten into the position to where you're going from grow to scale, you're going from scale to scaling, you just have to get used to it being uncomfortable. We do not solve for every feeling. We solve the problem. The feelings will subside when you have the resolution and when you get the new results. And I am not telling you to bypass. I am not telling you to bypass. Let me say that one more time. I am not telling you to bypass and pretend. I am telling you that it is going to be very uncomfortable and you do not have to pretend. You just have to keep moving. There's this idea that if I don't feel like, or if it doesn't feel right, or my gut is telling me, or most of the time, that is just the inability to feel uncomfortable. This is not easy. Going into business and staying in business is the greatest opportunity for personal development on the planet, hands down. It is just a constant challenge day after day after day after day. You will never solve all the problems ever, because as soon as you solve that problem, there's another one, there's another one, there's another one, as long as you want to continue to grow. So repeat. I'm not telling you to bypass. I am telling you to pass through, to feel it and to keep going. We're not going to ignore. We're not going to pretend. We're just going to be like, this feels like crap, and we're going to keep moving, because feeling good is not required for success. Whoa, how you like that one? Most of the things you do on planet Earth do not feel good. And the things that do feel good, chances are there's a negative habit or some kind of addiction to it. It just doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good to be lazy. It doesn't feel good to not get dressed. It doesn't feel good to take too much time off. I mean, you can only have so much margarita on the beach and be in sloth and apathy. That feels terrible. That's what I got for you this week, is knowing that as quickly as you can recognize the problem, the real problem, and you can resolve it, you can handle it, that's where your results are going to be. Expecting it to feel good or not moving because it doesn't feel pleasant, that's not going to help you. You're going to have to learn how to feel discomfort in order to recognize, to overcome, and to get the results that you want. And as soon as you get the results, there's going to be a new problem waiting behind the bushes. I promise you. And as soon as you can recognize and resolve that one, you're going to get the results. And then you'll recognize and resolve the next one and get the results. And that's the game. And if you don't like the game, business might not be the game for you. It just is. Like, luckily, I have other people on my team and partners, and they understand that this doesn't feel good. They understand the grind. They understand that we're not going to stop because it doesn't feel good. And we're not going to baby each other, and we're not going to give them like, oh, this is uncomfortable. Let's make this pleasant. No, we're just like, it's uncomfortable. And you wanting to baby me or smooth it over is not helpful, because then you're making it as if it's not supposed to be uncomfortable. No, we already know it's uncomfortable. It's not dangerous. It's just uncomfortable because it's unfamiliar and because you haven't paved that territory before. As soon as you get through it, you'll know how. You'll be able to tell someone else, but you've got to be the best client. You've got to be the one that takes the lead. You've got to be the one that's taking the action, moving through the discomfort until it is comfortable. And then you'll get to a point where being comfortable is uncomfortable because you'll realize that you're not growing. Oh, habits and behaviors are coming back. I am not saying it's all about the grind. I'm saying that unfamiliar is uncomfortable, that not knowing is uncomfortable. I've been breaking down a lot of principles and concepts. So if you are in between any of these phases, whether you were just starting your business or you were right in the middle of it, about to explode, hitting 7 figures, or you're beyond 7 figures and now you have team and people problems and scaling problems, it doesn't matter. It's all uncomfortable. Just know we're all in it together. I would love to invite you to come into the community where we can help you with sales and marketing and messaging and AI and how to represent yourself online, and then be in a group of people who know it's uncomfortable and are supporting each other. We are fighting for each other's potential. We do not fight for our limitations. I don't want anyone fighting for my limitations. I don't want anyone making excuses about it should feel good or this shouldn't be happening or people shouldn't be like mean or evil. No, they just are. They just are. I don't want to get tangled in the emotions of it. And I also feel a lot of emotions. I've just gotten really good at it. And that's my invitation for you this week. So recognize what the real problem is. Make sure you are creating new problems. Don't stay stuck in the same old problem. If you're sick of getting up and banging it out every day and you're feeling exhausted and burnt out, chances are you've been trying to solve the same problem for too long. Go and take a different action. Recognize first. Solve that. Handle it. Solve it. Get a resolution. The result's going to be right there, right on the other side. It doesn't take long at all. As soon as you recognize it, the answer is there. That will create the next new problem almost instantly. And so just recognize it and keep moving. If you want to be a part of the community, reach out to me or just kind of binge on all this and see if you can find your way through it. Everything is here. You just don't get the direct coaching and mentorship, but I do try to keep the channel with a lot of value that can continue to help you get to the next stage until you can get yourself in the position to where you can hire mentoring or coaching. I do realize that not everyone can do that. We have a container or a program beginning like at $1,000, $97 a month, and you get one coach call a week, all the way to $50,000, and we help you with your team and sales and marketing and systems. So there's lots of option, anywhere from $99 to $50,000 for, like, you do it monthly, you can do it annually. There's lots of options here. Find where you are today. Take a really good look of the patterns of problems that you continue to solve that are the same exact problem. And we just recognize, like, I have not solved for this. There's something in me that's afraid to take a chance, afraid to go forward, afraid to pay for help, afraid that it's not going to work. There's something in me that is afraid. And so I keep going backwards and saving the same problem to feel like I am doing something. This is all up here. It is an addiction. It is an addiction. And you get a dopamine hit from solving problems. So you just keep solving the same problem. The problem is, do you get the results that you want? All right. Have an amazing week and let me know if I can help you in any way.
Thanks for listening to this episode of More Than Mindset.